What's up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist here with
Gersh1.
We're back at it again, answering your questions in another installment of For the Greater.
This question comes from KevC00. He put question in front of his question, which is what you should do if you want your questions to be answered next week. Just comment down below. We answer these questions every Monday and Tuesday, so you can come back. His question is, what do Space Marines do in their spare time when they are not fighting? I know the Space Wolves drink and sing, but what about other chapters? That's a really good question, and it varies. The stereotypical Space Marine is going to basically...
They're going to pray, meditate, kind of bring themselves down from all that fighting. And they got to clear their minds because... even though all you hear about is all these battles, there's a lot that goes on. They got to take care of their battle barges. They got to, resharpen their weapons, take care of the warp, psyker things, all that stuff.
Yeah, and then when you jump into Space Marine chapters like the Salamanders, who are more... Salamanders?
Iron Hands?
No, not Iron Hand. Which ones are the ones that are like really connected to the people? Salamanders and Space Wolves, right?
Wolves, yeah.
And maybe even Ultramarines, but they have so many planets that they have to take care of that you could learn about this when we talked about Space Marine chapter Homeworlds. But basically there's certain planets that the Space Marines control directly. So they actually... go to the planetary governor and create policies, enforce the policies, basically act as the government for that planet. Of course, they're like the highest point, but so they have to do a lot of political work. They have to do a lot of basically what you would think a politician would do. So that's their daily lives. When they're not battling, they're being politicians that actually get shit done, I guess.
Yeah.
And then there's another one. Oh, they constantly have, like, depending on what type of Space Marine you are, like, what are the ones? The ones with they wear the skull? Chaplains. Chaplains have to do, what are those things called? Migrations? No. Like when you go to Mecca. Pilgrimages. So he has to go to a pilgrimage to, like, a holy site, recruit, if his Space Marine chapter requires him to do that. But yeah, they have to do pilgrimage. They have to fulfill pilgrimages to certain planets, or cardinal planets. That's what it is. So yeah, they stay busy. They do a lot.
Yeah, there's always training new recruits. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah, we're gonna create a video explaining more in depth on what Space Marines do on their free time. It'll be a 40 facts video. But yeah, thank you for sending that question our way.
But the basic answer is they play Pokemon Go.
Yeah, basically. Then the second generation is coming out, so they're pretty excited about that.
Oh yeah. You need to catch all those evolutions.
Now let's go to the next question. You can go. Were you going to the bottom or the top?
I'm going from the top.
Okay, go for it.
This one's by Dragon Punch 903. He asked, if Horus killed the Big E, what would Warhammer be like?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I think the roles would be flip-flopped, and I bet you our Horus would somehow be incapacitated by the Loyalists, who actually ran away from Terra, and they're fighting back. So they would have like a section of space for the Loyalists, a small section of space for the Loyalists, and the traitors are trying to fight and get into that space, while the Loyalists are like pushing back and like still fighting in the name of the Emperor, even though he's dead.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It's like the role reversal, but it'd be even darker and grimmer. So if you think 40k is bad now, just wait till the Emperor is.
Yeah, and you know how the traitors have the red eye? No.
The Eye of Terror.
The Eye of Terror. I bet you the Eldar would have been like, here's a webway portion that you guys can inhabit for the Loyalist Space Marines. That'd be pretty cool.
Maybe instead of demon Primarchs, you'd have like Legion of the Damned Primarchs where they're like clad in fire, but it's like holy fire.
Yeah. The Pope and shit. Okay, next question comes from Swag Police. Do you think that if the Emperor returns, he will be changed into the Imperium's version of him, since the warp is fueled by people, and a lot of people think he's a god? That's a good question. I don't think he... That's difficult. Because he has a presence in the warp, but when he comes back into real space, I don't think he'll still be a god, no. I think he'll just be, like, still the strongest psyker.
Right.
On top of the fact that he was already the strongest psyker.
He'd be hailed as even more of a god because he, like, died and came back, so...
Yeah. But would he be a god?
No,
I don't think so.
I feel like that'd be too OP.
Yeah.
To have, like, a god in real life. It's like, what can go up against a god? What's a goon to a god?
A non-believer.
There you go. This is by Crimson Lycan. Do you think GW will make Ratlings for 40k?
No.
No. I think they'll stay in fantasy. Wait, Ratlings? Oh, I was thinking of Skaven, sorry.
No, but he's saying, would they create their own, like, codex? Or, like, what did he say?
Would they make Ratlings for 40k?
Oh, they already have Ratlings for 40k. You playing them in Imperial Guard army.
Astra Militarum is what they're called.
Oh, Astra Militarum. But yeah, you could already play them. The ones you can't play is... Squats. Would they ever bring squats? No, I don't think so.
They don't lift, man.
No, they don't lift. Next question comes from 1115 Wolf. He says, what armies do you play, and do you hold some of your models in higher regard and have them kissed like Barbies and Ken? Is Ken gay now? Why is he gay now? So the first question is, what armies do you play? You go first.
Tau. Well, currently I play Tau and Grey Knights, and I'm doing the 11th Legion, Mystery Lost Legion.
So he's doing his own chapter. I have Imperial Fists, Orcs, and I want to start I have started a Space Wolves army, and I want to start a Skitarii army. But now that the Inquisition book came out, what is it called?
Forces of the Imperium or something.
Yeah, I really want to buy that, but $60 for the Codex is a lot.
I feel like it should have been like 35 or something, because most of those armies already have a Codex.
Yeah, so I'm going to stick with
Skitarii.
Yeah. And then the question, do you hold any figures higher than... I do. I hold my Warlord that the Sound Alchemist got me for my birthday. I custom built the guy from... What is it called? The Fantasy
Orc.
War Boss?
Yeah. I think his name's like Iron Jaw, Iron Tooth, something like that.
I even magnetized them, and there's really no point for me magnetizing them because I'm going to play them the same way every time. Power Claw and the Big Shooter. But yeah, that's my... And I don't kiss them.
You don't kiss them. Yeah, I mean, I didn't make any of my models. I have bought them secondhand, had them painted secondhand. So I guess the ones I hold in deep regard are the Tau, because I've always liked Tau. That were one of my first armies that I kept selling and always coming back to. So I'd say Farsight definitely. And do they kiss? No, but I do kiss them.
Next question.
Robert Law. Why isn't cloning used more in 40k? I guess it is used, but not overly used, because usually whenever they clone something, it's not as great as the original, and it ends up dying or getting killed and not doing much of anything. Because they did clone Horus, and you know Horus was like the big baddie, you know, the top of the top, and he died multiple times. So cloning, I guess, can be good. It's just not something that's great.
Yeah, because it's hard, and the process to actually clone is lost.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or fragmented.
Fabius Bile, he's like one of the dudes that you need to talk to about that.
Next question comes from MF Colston. In your opinion, can the Tau greater good coexist with the Imperial truth? If the Emperor were to resurrect. No, because the greater good... So the greater good by itself, yes. But it's connected to the ethereals or ethereals. And the ethereals are the mind-controlling guys that the Emperor would be like, you know what, nah, this isn't cool, guys. So no.
And on top of that, they're very xenophobic, so...
Well, no, but if the Emperor came back, I don't think they would be that xenophobic anymore, because the Emperor had some Xenos working for him.
Right, yeah.
Squats and abhumans. Next question.
This was by Night Shadow. Can a Psyker take over the Tyranid hive mind? If they can, what's stopping them from doing it? Easy answer would be no, because the Tyranids stop psychic abilities. We talked about this before. It's kind of like a little like bubble where there's no psychic stuff that can happen, so it would render a Psyker useless, essentially.
Yes. Next question comes from Duncan Hall. In the way that the Chaos Gods ally to weaken the most powerful among them, to restore balance in the greater game, would they or are they doing the same in the material world? Yeah, they're constantly working in the material world. Mm-hmm. They ally themselves with certain like high-ranking Imperial Guardsmen, and trick them into saying like, oh, we'll give you power, planetary control, or whatever, and then they like screw them over. So yeah, they're constantly doing that. I can't think of any specific
that's what I'm trying
things
to do.
off of the top of my head, but
yeah.
I mean, just during the 13th Black Crusade or the 12th Black Crusade, there was a planetary governor that was given the power by Nurgle to like become, bigger or whatever, and then Creed had to go in, and that's how Creed got famous, because he went in there and I think he killed that planetary governor, or he saved the planetary governor. I don't remember. Next question.
This one is Arthur. Is that what you got?
No.
Oh, Arthur Dotson could stay. This is in response to the question from the previous video
about them having babies.
Mm-hmm.
Space Marines having babies.
Could Space Marines still reproduce through artificial insemination? And if yes, then would their children have the genetic traits of a Space Marine?
So no, because they don't have wombs. So you can't artificially inseminate something
that doesn't have a womb.
Yeah, but if you meant the reverse, so like take their sperm and put it into somebody else, I'm pretty sure that's seen as bad, like evil, by the Adeptus Mechanicus. And then on top of that, why would you do that when you could just like have a regular baby and make it into a Space Marine? And that process is like scripted, and they know how to do it. Why break something, or why try to do something that already has a solution to it, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Next question comes from Oracle001. Are you guys able to speak properly? No. Depending on what region you're from, there's different, what are they called? Dialects. So, yeah.
Sorry, mate. Matey, R.
He's probably from the U.S.
I thought he'd be a pirate.
Maybe he's from the coast. Next question.
Jacob Morris. What would Eldar do if they found a human child? Probably just leave it to die.
No, I mean, it depends. If it's like an extradited Eldar. She said Eldar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, like if the Eldar found a human kid.
Yeah, I don't think they would be savages. It would be like, take it back to like an imperial planet. Yeah.
But I mean, the Eldar see themselves so highly above it, so would they even bother to do that?
Yeah, like I said, it depends on the
It depends on who it is.
Yeah. If it's right after a war and they're like still like juiced up,
just roided up.
Yeah, they'll kill the baby. Question from Arthur Dotson on Space Marine sex and reproduction. Can you tell us where the information for your answer comes from? I like to look it up. Heck, I think we all would. Thanks. You would like to see Space Marines having sex?
For research purposes only.
No, there's nothing specifically that says that Space Marines cannot have sex. There's nothing that says Space Marines do have sex.
It's all implied.
Yeah.
I think there's a novel where it said that they can fall in love, or something about, there was one instance when somebody fell in love, but I don't know if that was like legit GW. It might have just been the author like putting in his own twist.
Right.
So,
next question.
D. Jalmer. Question: if y'all were to pick a chaos god to worship, who would you worship and why? Zeech, because I want to have psychic powers, and I feel like I'd get screwed the least. Well, at least in the short run. Because if I would go to Slanesh, I'd probably get raped. Mm-hmm. If I went to Nurgle, I'd be sick. Mm-hmm. If I went to Khorne, I'd die.
I agree with you. I'd go to Zeech because I want to do like magical shit. I want to become the Grand Master Supreme.
Damn. Watch out. Gersh is coming.
The next question comes from Warboss Nog. What's the best way to convert models? Similar to Gersh's Megaboss or Warboss conversion. The best way to convert models is to have a concept in your mind. I borrowed the concept from my Warboss on somebody on Instagram, so I created it that way. But what he did is like he actually drew it out. Like he had a vision for what the Warboss should look like, and then he created it. So if you want to create something, first create your concept art or have something in your mind, get the model that you want to convert, and then just start going at it.
Yeah. Also, kit bash, that helps me a lot. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish there was a spear for the Space Marine. Guess what? The Grey Knights have halberds. You can just, snip a bit here and there, and boom, there it is.
That's a spear.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And those were the questions for this week. Thank you guys so much for sending the questions. We have a Patreon exclusive video, so if you want to jump over to Patreon, you can get more questions answered there. Thank you guys so much for liking, commenting, and sharing. And that's it.
As always, guys, he is
Gersh1.
I'm the Sound Alchemist. We are One Mind Syndicate, and we are out of here.